Watke's the second fastest 800-meter runner in the country at 1:48.24. But Bob, the key thing about Dan Watke is he's a 47.50 PR for the 400. So he's 47.50, 1:48.59, and his mile is 4:09.67. I mean, who has that range at this age? It's unbelievable. He ran the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships, 1:48.24 is his PR in the 800. He was second at Brooks just 2 days ago. So I would not want to be ahead of Dan Watke with just a little bit to go, because he's going to run you down. And that's what's going to be absolutely interesting about this race. Heidesh is supposed to anchor for Dowling Catholic as expected. Watke anchoring for Hinsdale Central. Louis Vuitton has Ford Washburn running the third leg. So Ford Washburn's going to run the 800 leg, which is interesting to me. If you have a miler like Ford Washburn, maybe they want to save him for the mile later in the meet, of course. But boy, oh boy, it's going to be an interesting race.
They'll stand him up. Everybody a little eager at the line.
I'm eager, and I'm sitting here watching the thing.
You're eager about these guys. Well, in this kind of race, every leg matters.
Oh, God, yes. And I think with these anchors, Bob, we can't rule out teams that may be a bit behind and look like they're out of it. Because if Dowling Catholic is behind or Hinsdale Central's behind, we know who's anchoring for those schools. And Hinsdale's right in the front right now, at least this early.
You can't miss them in the maroon over black. That's Louis Vuitton in the white over black.
Still interested in Ford Washburn running the third leg rather than the anchor. Interesting choice. Good first lap, honest pace, 56.25. So Bob, Dowling Catholic through the first 400 was 11th. But of course, it's very, very early. And that Louis Vuitton team.
Looks like, I thought I saw their runner bounce outside too, trying to make a move in the back stretch, but he didn't really improve his position.
I'll tell you what, Hinsdale, though, running really, really well. And Dan Watke's got to be thrilled. He may not have too much work to do, but we'll see.
Well, 151 for the first 8.
Jeez.
Vestavia Hills, the second seed, 152.7. Red Mountain from Arizona, 154.3. Dreamville of Florida, 154.82. And Louis Vuitton, 154.85.
And
Dowling
keep
Catholic
in mind, Bob,
10th at the first exchange.
Keep in mind that Louis Vuitton is, they're the national leaders at 7:37.66. 7:32.15, of course, is that meet, or the Hayward Field record. That thing could very well go. You run a series averaging 152, and you're at 7:28. 153 and 7:32.
So Hinsdale with Scora right now. Louis Vuitton with Noordame. Dowling with Flory. Westavia got a
Dowling is
55. Louis Vuitton a 54 that first time around.
Yeah, Dowling is 5 seconds back at the moment, and that's a lot in an 800. Even when you have Jackson Hydesh, who's one of the toughest runners I have ever seen. I saw the Foot Locker, or called the Foot Locker Heartland cross country, where he beat Simeon Birnbaum and Ford Washburn right at the line. And this is a great omen for Hinsdale here. So Dan Watkey is probably going to get the, Dan Watkey's probably going to get the stick with a pretty big lead. Hinsdale is just flying right now.
That's Grant
That's
Miller.
about a 154.
Westavia has Armstrong, Max Armstrong on the carry.
And now Louis Vuitton. This should be Washburn on this carry.
It is.
Ford Washburn, one of the absolute elite runners in the country. He went out in 55.92, did Washburn. This should be the lap when he really goes. He's got the strength that a lot of these others don't. And sure enough, he is coming up.
In the third spot right now with 200 to go, but closing the gap.
He is closing. Everybody's closing on Hinsdale. Hinsdale looking over his shoulder. Well, maybe Waukee will have a little work to do.
Dead even
There he is with
at the final handoff.
Yep.
Vestavia
But you
sends
remember,
Alex Leaf.
Waukee is a 47.50 400-meter guy. And there's nobody in the field that has those kinds of wheels. And there he is in second, just dogging Vestavia Hills. This guy's going to the University of Oregon, Dan Waukee. And I bet right now Jerry Schumacher's either in the crowd or watching this broadcast and going, oh my God, I can't wait to get my hands on this guy. In fact, I saw Jerry at the airport coming back from NCAA's and mentioned Waukee to him, and he lit up like a Christmas tree. Waukee's so easy. Look at him. He's so relaxed. Look at the arm carriage. Just fluid. And when it's time to swoop, you will see what kind of wheels this kid has.
He's just lurking on Leaf.
Oh, yeah. Exactly, Bob. 54.8, and he's just so relaxed.
Leaf cannot see him. He can only hear and feel him.
Do you see any distress in Waukee? Totally
No.
different story. This kid is special.
He's not even gonna. He's not worried about the back, doing it on the backstretch on the straight. He'll do it on the curve. Here he goes.
He's a 47.50 400 guy. You don't worry about anybody. Look at him go.
Waukee in the lead. Just
Look
like
at him
he
go,
planned
Bob.
it.
Look at the extension. Wow. Look at that.
Knew exactly
Look
what
at
he
the
needed to
time,
do,
Bob.
Kept it easy on the fourth, and he breaks the Hayward Field record along with his team. 7:29.20, 54.53 is his split.
53.44 is what my thing says.
Yeah, for the last lap. So his split is 54.85, 53.44. And also breaking the Hayward Field record is Westavia Hills. Leaf didn't lose any more ground after losing the lead. Louis Vuitton is third, 7:36.69. So both Hinsdale Central and Westavia Hills break the Hayward Field record and are pretty close, within a second, less than a second off the meet record.
148 was the split for Dan Watke on the anchor leg, and he just toyed with Vestavia Hills, and the Vestavia Hills guy ran 150.
Yeah.
I mean, what a race. And they just missed the national record by 45 hundredths of a second. So Dan Watke, remember him, second from the right. University of Oregon has a big one. He'll be doing a lot of good work at Hayward Field coming up.
And you were saying this as he went, he probably could have gone faster on his own. He didn't need to.
No, he's not tired. This kid is a special talent with that range. What a race. That was awesome. Look at those times. That's exceptional 800-meter running across, up, and down the board.
So no surprise, the top 10 times from this section are the top 10 overall in the event. Lang's gang from the first section ends up 10th with that 7:48.59. But it's Hinsdale, Vestavia Hills, Louis Vuitton, Red Mountain, and Naperville Central.